Mhm.
All right. And let me just make everyone full screen so that I'm no longer distracted by emails and messages while we're hopping on here. So, my name is Molly Kaufman, and I'm so happy to be joined by my colleague and friend, Amy Bush. We're really happy to welcome you to this meet and greet Zoom. The reason we wanted to host this Zoom is because we've had a lot of interest in the retreat. And we're also hearing a lot of the reasons why the world is making it feel challenging to register, to take that next step to join us. And we understand that you are inundated with so many messages and information and offering. And so, really, the main goal of today is for you to meet us and to know a little bit more about who Amy and I are, why we are really excited to gather this group of women in Greece. And as I was saying before we hit record, I have put together some slides that we'll go through quickly, but just to give you a little taster of the village, of the location, of the feel of the rooms, and some information that will hopefully help you to understand if one, we are the right people for you, and two, if this is the right opportunity. Amy, do you want to start by introducing yourself, and then I'll give a small introduction, and then we can just hop on into the presentation.
Yes, thank you, Molly. My name is Amy Bush. I reside in New York, Western New York, the Finger Lakes area. I'm a dancer, former dance studio owner, somatic practitioner, and co-director of East West Somatics Institute. Um, and I held a workshop last year with Molly at Molly and hosted. And I'm so excited to be back this year and joining with her to do this retreat.
Yeah. Thanks, Amy. And for those of you who don't yet know me, my name is Molly Kaufman. I am actually based sometimes here in the village in Greece because, as Amy alluded to, I do host other teachers at this same location. And over the years, I've fallen so in love with this small simplicity of the village that I use this as a base. I work virtually primarily. I also have a base in Italy, although I am US born. I have been an expat living over here in the Mediterranean for the last 13 years. I'm a doctor of acupuncture and Chinese medicine, an herbalist, a yoga and meditation instructor, a lifestyle medicine coach, and I have been leading and hosting retreats all over the world for the last 11 years. And as Amy said, my husband actually met Amy before I met Amy, and then last year we met each other, and then I had the privilege and fun opportunity to go visit Amy in upstate New York last year when I was doing a teaching tour. And we had dance parties every morning in her kitchen together and started dreaming up a way that we could bring our passions together and hold and create a place to gather people together. That was a lot of togethers. So, um, it's really wonderful to have any of you here that you're here with us live. If you can put your video on, it's always nice to see your face. If you're listening to the recording, please know that you can reach out to either of us with questions. Um, Before I show you some pictures of the place, because I feel like the minute I show you a couple pictures, your fantasy is going to ignite and you're going to already be dreaming that you're here with us right now. So before we get that distracted, I'd love Amy and I we've been having conversations periodically and pretty regularly over the last couple of months as we've been dreaming up this retreat. But Amy, do you want to share a few of your own words about the why behind one, it being a women's group, and two, just why?
Yes, thank you. So the why of the women's group that kind of evolved into that, I think that at this time when there's so much going on, it's nice to step or to gather in a circle with women, and so that we can just express ourselves easily and comfortably with each other. Um, the why of this retreat, I feel, is just to step away. We get so caught up in our everyday lives, and we all have our coping skills and tactics and tools to get through the hard stuff and the stress. But we are human, and those tools sometimes end up not working, or we forget about them, we set them aside. So to step away from our lives that we live in our homes, in our cities, in our partners, families, to step away from that just for a bit and regroup and rediscover what is within us and how we relate with each other. Because with blinders on, sometimes that we lose that. We lose that aspect. So to step away, it gives us a new perspective to move forward with new possibilities.
Yeah, I love that so much. And, I think it's nice to say too that the stepping away, okay, I mean, in ancient times, maybe they didn't retreat to another country or fly across an ocean to retreat, but there are so many rituals across cultures and, um, some of you know that I like lead a holistic detox cleanse program twice a year, and even there, it's something that the inherent intelligence of like tribal wisdom and community wisdom knew that it was really important to pause periodically. And I would say that we've lost a lot of that in our modern culture, just right down to small rituals, like waking up and lighting a candle and setting an intention for the day, or just small little things that get really lost in the immediacy and velocity of life that I think a lot of us these days, I don't know, Amy, tell me if this is true for you, but I feel like a lot of people I encounter feel a sense of yearning, but it's almost like they can't understand what the yearning is for. And what I've
Mm,
really witnessed over this more than a decade, gathering groups together, taking people out of their norm and just giving us a chance to like settle into a safe place, see the world with fresh eyes, that we
mm,
realize that yearning is for the simplest of things, which are connection and
mhm,
small rituals that we hold in the day. And when you come together on a week-long retreat, it's really beautiful because we gather each morning. You're invited up to the movement space for just to sit silently with the sunrise. And then we start each day with a yoga and meditation practice accessible to all levels. We are going to explore and have fun during the day. And then, we gather again at night. We're eating meals together. I feel like even that in our modern culture, it's like you have to do so much coordinating just to sit down with
mhm.
people that you love to break bread. And on retreat, you just have that built in. Like we just get to sit down at the end of each day and share stories and laugh together and eat together. And these like very simple things that bring so much fulfillment and meaning to life that we've lost in our modern day is I know one of the main reasons that I continue to dedicate myself to creating and holding these spaces is just to satiate that unnamed yearning that so many of us
Mm,
seem to have that is so easily remembered when we just allow ourselves to land somewhere to let go of the normal everyday responsibilities. Not to say that you won't be able to regather them, but when you do regather them, you'll have a fresh perspective on them and you'll have a rejuvenated remembering of how important these small but like easy to forget things are.
yes, absolutely. That remembering is so important because we are who we are. We somatics is what we do, how we feel, how we move, how we relate, um, and they're all innately there. But on an everyday basis, sometimes we don't think about that, consciously think about that. So this gives us a chance to do that, to slow down, to pause, as you said, um, to reflect, to just be in the place where we're at, and have eyes forward as we move forward back home.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Instead of Picasso painting eyes.
Yeah.
Like in all the places, I find a lot of people that come on retreat kind of arrive like a Picasso painting and then leave like a Monet, just like everything flowing together. And I think too, I guess I didn't really anticipate talking this much, but it's so fun to be able to say that as I've been reflecting on the body of work that you're an expert at and the body of work that I'm an expert at and bringing these things together. Yoga. Okay, it has been sold and marketed in a lot of misrepresentative ways in the modern world, in the Western world, I'm going to say, maybe not even only in the Western world. And so I'd love to share that a lot of the heart of the yoga practice, especially the physical practice, like the movement oriented practice, is about this concept called Sthira Sukham Asanam, which just means a steady, comfortable place. And a lot of what we do in the practices of yoga with breath and with concentration, not meditation is like the last thing in the line. So concentration even comes before that, and also purifying how energy is moving in the body. A lot of that is oriented around feeling comfortable in your skin. And what I love is that as we take some time to cultivate that each morning, and then we set forth in our day and we get this beautiful, new, nourishing, colorful input from the Greek culture and the sea and the mountains and the food and everything, then we celebrate the culmination of the day in somatic movement or somatic healing, where having found our way back home into ourselves with the yoga practice, we can then start exploring what that actually like means and feels like, and in a really honest and fun way. And I feel like in our modern world, because we're sort of asked to choose one path or the other path or the other path, I know I've met people who move into somatics that just didn't yet take the time to kind of settle into the body, or vice versa, coming into yoga and really using it as a kind of like dogmatic thing or a spiritual thing. And so there's this place where the yin, the goddess part of it, of just taking time to settle in and aligning the breath and the mind and the body. And then with that centering, you know, coming into Amy's hands and letting that become, beautiful, colorful painting. It's super exciting.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Starting the day off with the yoga, meditation, and just the sunlight coming through the yogashala windows, I can picture in my head from last year when I was there. That's going to forever stick with me. So being in that place where you're at right now down the road, is just so special and so beautiful. And it is a painting in my mind. It's an impressionistic painting happening right now. Um, so at the end of the day, we start off with the yoga, and at the end move into somatic work, somatic dance, somatic movement, somatic hands-on body work. We'll sample a little bit of everything, and um, dance reconnects us to ourselves. Dance is medicine. Dance is it reminds us of joy. Dance creates connection. It's expression without words. So, a great way to end the day to just bring all that together. And I always come back to new possibilities. Where's our new possibilities? Where can we go? What are we not looking at? What are we not tapping into? There's so much within us.
Yeah.
So dance is the key for the
Yeah.
evening. Yeah.
I love it. And that kind of taps in and then I will really share these pictures because I know you're excited to see them. But it taps into something else that I'm really seeing. I mean, both as a doctor of Chinese medicine, as a yoga instructor, I feel like in these years we have been asked to continually look outward, outward for the answer, outward for the fulfillment, outward for the what is next. And there's so much that we already have that we don't have to use more energy to find. We actually, the opposite, just have to settle in and be willing to like sit with everything that already is, and kind
Mhm.
of moving from there. And I love the women's circles in a lot of ways, really specifically tap into that energy of just, wait a minute, okay, there's some cool things to find out there, but there's so much that we have forgotten that it already exists right here.
Mhm.
And the two together are really like this beautiful footpath back to that place.
Yes.
All right. Should we share some pictures?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay. So I'm gonna do this in a very brief um, kind of way. So this is just a collage of some of the pictures of the place that we will be gathering, which is called Ancient Epidavros. And Epidauro actually means from ancient Greek, center of the aura. And the reason this place has such an important name, so here's just a bird's eye view of the little village. This is the Saronic Gulf of the Aegean Sea. And this is this sweet little village of Epidavros. And you can probably see my arrow. Yeah, you can see the church here. And our hotel is right next to the church, right on the water in the main port. And so you can see there's plenty of seashore for us to luxuriate and walk along and enjoy. But the reason this place is called the Center of the Aura is because it has been a pilgrimage place of healing for thousands of years. About 12 kilometers away from the village is the ancient temple of Asclepios. And for those of you who don't remember your Greek mythology, Asclepios is the son of Apollo, the god of the sun. And Asclepios is of the physician god, the doctor god, predating Hippocrates. And most of us are familiar with the scientific lineage of medicine, but not as much, or we've really forgotten the storytelling of the more mythical and mystical lineage of healing that in great part actually started in Greece, and not only in Greece, but this amphitheater right here is part of this sanctuary of Asclepios. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and this is one of the best preserved amphitheaters in all of Greece. And what's particularly beautiful about this archaeological site that we will be visiting is that more or less it is a holistic healing center. It has the bathing house, it has the ball court where they would do the games, it has the theater where they would offer plays to help people with catharsis, with emotional catharsis to help them heal. It has a meditation room where it is said that Asclepius would deliver the cure to people, probably in a hypnotic state. And so there's a very deep and rich history to healing now for particular reasons that you'll learn about when we're learning about the history once you're here. A lot of the local population now has lost a connection to this heritage, but still the village itself and so many people like myself and other people that come to do work here are really trying to reweave the lineage all the way back to these healing roots. And so the center of the aura is the name of the place, designating it as like the place to come for healing. And a lot of people that I've hosted here in the village say there's just even before they know anything about the history, they just say like there's something special here. I just feel good here. And that's how the ancient Greeks are said to have chosen places. I mean, there are a lot of theories about, watching where lightning strikes and energetics and, depending on how far you want to go in the story. But definitely across the board, it's a special place historically. And it does seem to hold a really special charge for people that come to visit. And this is going to be where we host our accommodations. It is called Hotel Mike. It's right on the port in ancient Epidavros, and it's a family-run hotel. What's neat about this hotel is while it has been updated somewhat, now I'm going to say this is not a luxury retreat. This is a feel all the feels retreat. Have fun, be authentic, be sincere, be with good people, touch the culture, eat good food. So the rooms at this hotel are really simple, but what's really cool is this was the very first hotel in the port, and there are some pictures up in the restaurant where you can see a lot of the history of the hotel. But this was really the first place in ancient Epidavros that started to host any kind of tourists. I mean, initially it was Greek tourists, and what's also special about this village is it isn't a very touristy place. It's not a tourist destination. Even with the history it carries, it still is a very hidden gem. And Amy and I both love this about the village because you really touch back into a simpler time. You really touch back into a simpler way. And here's an example of what one of the bedrooms looks like. So, no frills. You're going to be perfectly comfortable. Windows, screens, air conditioning. There's a safe for those of you that makes feel more safe. Every bedroom has an ensuite bathroom. But honestly, we don't spend a lot of time in the rooms, so that definitely isn't the main focus. And they're wonderful little rooms. And Amy, if you want to jump in at all, but I'm just kind of do a big like overview so we can field questions. Um, this is a group that I recently hosted. So you can see there are tables and chairs right on the port where we'll have our breakfast and dinner. This group just loved sitting by the waterfront. So they would hang their legs over the port and take their breakfast and their fresh squeezed orange juice onto the edge of the port. But this is our view when we are both practicing yoga and having our meals and doing anything else in the hotel. And then on the very first day of the retreat, so arrival day is Saturday, and on Sunday, we're going to walk you over to one of the local beaches that's on a little bit out of town, and we're going to do a tasting of some local products. So olive oil tasting, olive tasting, and here's a picture of a very beautiful version of a Greek salad and the beach that we will be able to swim at and relax on when we're doing this olive oil and olive and feta cheese and tomato tasting of the local flavors. And then what's really cool is that this beach is where you also find what's called Sunken City. It's an archaeological site that is about 5 meters under the water. And so we bring masks and goggles. And after you eat, if you want to just take the rest of the afternoon to relax, you can snorkel out or swim out. Very easily swimmable. Remember, it's salt water, so you also have like built-in flotation device with the saltiness of the water, and you can kind of float over this beautiful archaeological site and see amphors. It's not it's not a whole city. It's definitely an archaeological site, but it is definitely a very cool thing to see and just within walking distance and kind of built into that first acclimation day. We're hosting this retreat in September, and September is really well known for its incredible sunrises. This is a sunrise, if you can imagine. And so hopefully the weather will be fine for us, that we'll be able to have this type of view as we're greeting each other for the day for morning meditation and morning breath work and movement. And then here's a shot, if you haven't seen the other pictures that we've shared, the inside of the movement space that we have. It's sort of like, I don't know if anyone are cruise ship fans. Truthfully, honestly, I'm not, but we always say that it's almost like being just on the front part of a cruise ship because you're facing the water and you get to watch the mountains outside and the sea and the boats and the sailboats as you're practicing and doing everything else. So this will be our safe and sacred space to gather for workshops and all of the teaching that Amy and I will be doing. And then, of course, throughout the week, we're going to take you built into the price of the retreat on a couple of other excursions. On the left here, you see smiling faces. This is the island of Spetses, where we can rent quads or you can rent e-bikes, you can walk. It's a really fun island to do something a little bit more adventurous. The middle picture is an archaeological site. It isn't the site of Asclepios. But we'll also give you some guidance. You'll have plenty of downtime. So if there are things that you're really wanting to see in the area, we will help facilitate your ability to do that. And there are even some hikes and walks in nature along the shore nearby. If you're a walker, you're a hiker, you can use some of your time to get more immersed in nature. This is another excursion that will take you on. This is a sketch, but it really captures how Nafplio feels. This is the town of Nafplio. It was actually the capital of Greece for about 16 days before the capital moved to Athens. And it is a charming little town that has a Venetian fortress that you can walk up 999 steps to see. It has these charming little lanes where you can do shopping or just sit down at a taverna and watch people go by. There's a white pebble beach here. So we'll spend a day here exploring and enjoying another version of the Greek culture and Greek. Oh, and there's another. I didn't realize that was in there too. I guess I really wanted to see, like, for you to see how much fun we can have on these excursions, even if you don't want to rent a quad. So, just a really quick overview of what is included in the price. So, the fact that you're here on the Zoom, we have extended for you the early bird pricing, which is 1,950 for a shared accommodation. And what that includes is group transport to and from Athens International Airport, which is the airport that you're going to want to fly into and out of. Some people have already chosen to stay a couple days in Athens, either pre-retreat or post-retreat. And when you register, we'll provide you with an arrival and departure window. And so to take part of this group transport, you need to arrive inside that window to the best of your ability. And we will, of course, work with the group depending on how things come together. The price of the retreat has built into it the olive oil tasting, the archaeological site visit, an island excursion, and going to Nafplio. It also includes breakfast and dinner and all of your classes, workshops with both Amy and myself. What isn't included that you'll want to take consideration of is airfare. Lunches, although on the first day we're offering you lunch, and on other days we're going to be out and about and doing things. We might have an opportunity to go kayaking for a half day. There is a dive center connected to the hotel. So if you've always wanted to do a discovery scuba dive, you can do that in your free time. So there are still a lot of things that you can add on, or you can just take that space and, be and bring a book or bring a journal or, just go for a walk, go sit on a beach. But so airfare, lunches, alcoholic beverages, you will get a glass of wine or two with dinner included, but anything beyond that, if you feel like partaking in that kind of thing, will be at your own expense. And then just extra services, if we can bring in a massage therapist, extra activities like scuba diving, kayaking, will be at your own cost, and of course the tip for the hotel staff that will gather together as a group and make that offering together. And I love this picture. This is actually next door. This is a space where we used to do Greek dance lessons. That might also still happen with this group. There's a lot of spontaneous stuff that can always happen when you come to such a magical place. But I end with this slide because I feel like this really captures the like feeling of what it's like, I mean, what it has been like for Amy and I to be together and what we want to pay forward to you. Just fun, lighthearted, beautiful gathering. And I think the last thing that I'll say here is nor Amy or I, and Amy, I hope you don't mind I'm speaking for you, so really like correct me if I'm wrong. What I love so much about Amy, and it's my approach as well, is we are not the teachers who feel like we need to stuff things down your throat for you to get it. We
Correct. Yeah.
really both trust in the wisdom and teachings that we carry, that if you do them, the gifts come.
Mhm.
And it's something in particular that I fell in love with about Amy immediately when I met her, and I knew we were kindred spirits, that there is absolutely nothing forced. It's like, come, participate, just be, like be present with us. Let us hold you in, let us hug you in, let us take care of you. And the rest, that's where magic really blooms.
Yes, I share those sentiments about you, Molly, which is so exciting why we're collaborating on this and inviting others in to share this joy. And I think the whole feeling of this retreat is it just reminds us that we're living and sensing and feeling beings and not just thinking beings. That's part of it, but the living and sensing, feeling is so important. To recognize, rediscover,
Remember.
remember. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, amazing.
Hmm.
Is there anything else, Amy, you want to add before we see if anyone who's here with us live has a question?
No, I think because you were there and you live there, you explain it so well, it excites me again, all over again, to return to Epidavros. And there's two ways to pronounce that, correct, Molly?
Epidavros or
Mm-hmm.
Epidauro? Yeah.
Epidavro. Okay.
Depends on which language you are speaker.
Ah.
Uh, yes. So, yeah. And, I think also it's just really nice to say that it's such a privilege to even be able to consider doing something like this.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can consider it and you are considering it, it feels really important that we do these things right now
Mm-hmm.
to remember how to be connected, to remember how to have conversations without devices, to remember what waking up and just greeting the sunrise without, checking Instagram feels like. I mean, you're welcome to do that, but we'll invite, we'll just invite you to be present with us. And so if you can, I feel like it's a really it's not only a privileged thing and a gift to yourself, but it's sort of a gift to life that we come
Mm-hmm.
together and remember these things. So,
Yeah.
do either of you who are with us live have questions that we could answer to help you? What time does the retreat end? Yeah, so there is a group transport to the airport. We invite you to look for flights in the afternoon or at least the early afternoon. The village is a 2-hour drive from Athens Airport. So I know one woman who is already committed and participating has purchased a very early morning flight just because she has a necessity to get back to Austin at a decent hour. But we've invited everyone else to look for flights in, the early afternoon, if possible, to evening. But just when you're looking at flights, keep us in the loop so we can also help you understand when other flights are, or if people start sharing flights with us and everyone has an 11 a.m. flight, obviously we'll make the transfer at a time where we get everyone there for an 11 a.m. flight. So we'll do our best to accommodate what is coming up best for the group as far as flights and availability and affordability. But do keep in mind it's a 2 hour drive to the airport. More important for departure. Um, Anything else? Any other questions? Oh, kind of, can you help? Yeah, yeah. We can help with hotels in Athens for sure. Yeah, yeah, we can help you with all the things. We're humans. I will say I'm not an expert in Athens, but I know where others have stayed that they've liked. And I can definitely orient you to the places in Athens that are great places to stay, especially if you're going to stay for a couple days. You might want to be near the Acropolis, near Syntagma in the center, where you can walk to a lot of different things and have easy access. So, yes, we can help with that.
I've had some really good luck through booking.com.
Yeah.
In Athens, I really haven't had any bad experiences with my stays in Greece before with that.
Yeah.
And also I think it's a great opportunity to take, if you can make it work, to take a couple days before or after, and that alleviates the worry about like a plane arriving late or a cancellation of a flight or something. So
Mm.
planning a day, and then you get to see the sites, the sightseeing um, places in Athens or a smaller island. Like last year, we went to Idra and Paros, P-A-R. Is it Poros or Paros?
Mhm.
I went to, I can't
It's
remember.
Poros.
Poros,
Yeah,
yes.
Paros is on the other side.
It's a long distance away. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's nice to take that opportunity if that's available to you.
Yeah. Yeah,
It makes a
that's a
difference.
really great point. A lot of people do kind of naturally build a day or two in on one end if that is available to you. But the points you make, Amy, about delayed flights or arrival, things like that, it is always nice when you're traveling internationally to give a buffer. And I mean, Athens is incredible. The Acropolis is there, and there's so much history and beauty. So it's a nice place to land. The next question is, how long are the days? So the invitation is usually to come into the yoga space at 7:45. 15 minutes of silence leading into an hour and a half practice, but that might be adjusted depending on what we're doing on any given day. And then the evening gathering, we usually do around 5 or 5:30, again, depending on what the activity we're doing, and dinner 7:30 if we can. I would say 7:30 is more realistic. I will say that one of the rules, this is the first time Amy and I are leading together. So again, Amy, jump in if you're like, no, I expect people to stay at dinner, but I know you're not going to say that. One of the first invitations that I make at the first dinner is I am I not regimented, but when I get tired, you don't really want to be around me. And so I always say, when you feel tired, even if people are staying at dinner, people are, like sitting at the table, if you love to go to bed at 9 p.m., go to bed at 9 p.m., please. Like, we're going to invite you to look after you. If you need some time in quiet at the end of the day, leave the dinner table after you've eaten. We do not stand on ceremony about, especially I would say bedtime. Now, the start of the day, it's nice to arrive for the practice if you're going to practice, but the end of the day is I'm an early to sleep, early to rise naturally. Obviously, I alter that a little bit when I'm leading a group. But certainly zero rules about, needing to stay or needing to participate or anything. In fact, it's really the opposite, I would say. We really want you to listen into what feels good to you and follow that.
I'd like to add too from our experience last year. It's such a intimate little quiet fishing village town. It's so lovely. Um, with our group, we were late nighters as well, but there is a little bar or gathering center where musicians will play, and it's just you walk around the building and it's right there.
Yeah.
We met Christos. Is his name Christos or Chris, the bartender there? And then there was a man that taught really traditional Greek dancing that we had fun with. We were back by to the hotel by 10, I think.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can really make your own schedule, and what you're up for is totally up to you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Super. Great questions. Thank you. Anything else? Was this helpful? Great. Super. All right. Well, Heather, I don't know if you're really with us or not, but it was really nice to have you here. If you've got anything or any questions, you can feel free to follow up with us via email or our contacts. And for those of you who might be listening to the recording, we'll just say that we have extended that early bird rate for you until the I'm gonna send the recording out via email. Yeah. So yeah, so if you're here and you're listening to us and you're like, gosh, I'm so excited about this, and I know the person that I would love to come on this retreat with, feel free to share this recording with them. Feel free to share any of the information. That's how both Amy and I really operate our lives, both my medical practice, my retreat, but everything is really word of mouth because there's an intimacy and a different level of trust when you feel the humanity between people. So, really feel free to invite your bestie and share the recording. I'll be sending it out via email shortly. And if there are still lingering questions or doubts, let us know. But that early bird pricing will be good, will expire on Friday night. So you've got a week to take a look at tickets, to ask us your remaining questions, and to join us. We would really love to have you with us.
Yes. Hope to see you there.
Yeah. And thank you for being with us live. For those of you who have joined us and stayed with us live, much appreciated to be able to see you and hear from you. And all of you out there in the ethers, we can't wait to see you real time in September, right? So have a great rest of your Saturday, wherever you might be, everyone. Thanks again for joining us, and we will see you soon.
Thank you.